Welcome back to Lesson 9. So we're getting there. We have a lot to work on today. We're going to talk about intros and endings. This is an important part of any song. It's the first thing your audience hears, and it's the last thing your audience hears. And unfortunately, a lot of musicians do not spend a lot of time on their on working out introductions. So I'm going to give you a few ideas just verbally, and then we're going to talk about what you have in front of you on your paper. The easiest way out, and quite honestly, it's sort of a cop-out, and what a lot of musicians do, they simply play a 2-5-1 progression as their intro, or a 3-6-2-5-1 progression. You know, something that's pretty generic. You know. And then in the next song, it's time for their intro, and the next song, it's still. Okay, people just don't get very creative with their intros, unfortunately. So I'm going to give you a few ideas. The first thing is sometimes it's really great to take something out of the song that you're actually going to play and use pieces of it as an intro. Okay, so let's see, a few weeks ago you guys worked on Somewhere Over the Rainbow, right? So maybe a good place to start, it would be one of the more memorable parts of the song. And I think the bridge kind of fills that bill. So you might want to do something like this. Just start in the key you're in. Okay, so it's a little obvious, but that can work. A little better way to dress that up is maybe take that intro around to some different keys. So something like this. Etc. Okay, what did I do? Well, I took the bridge idea, the first phrase, and I started it in the key of C, and I just did it around the circle of fourths until I got to the key that I wanted to play the song in. Okay, and so I was playing the song in E flat, so I had several rounds I could do before I got to the key of E flat. In other words, I started in C, and now I'm going to do it in the key of F, then B flat, and then E flat. Finally, the key I'm in for the song. And now I'll find a 2 chord and a 5 chord. And I'm ready to start. Another thing you can do is take a different song from the same source. In other words, the same group or a movie or a play, something like that that's familiar, and use that as an introduction. So I could use this as an opening for Over the Rainbow. What did I do? Well, the song was If I Only Had a Brain. Okay, most people know that tune. And what I did was I played it in the key of F. Now, it should end on an F major, but I made it F minor instead. And the reason why is F minor is the 2 chord of E flat, which is the key I'm actually going to play the song in. So it's kind of a sneaky way to get into the right key. So again, if I went and F minor. Now my 5 chord in E flat. Now I'm ready to play Over the Rainbow. So that works pretty well. Okay? Now, what you have in front of you is a little different. It's a formalized way to come up with a good intro that can also be used as an ending. These are actually written as better endings, but I'll show you how to turn them into intros as well. But the formula, if you look at the paragraph, I'm just going to read this to you. The following progressions work well for intros and endings. In this series, we will use various harmonic devices to come up with interesting sounds. The first progression follows a diatonic or scale-wise pattern, then goes into a series of chords that move in fourths. This is followed by the half-step dominant approach chord into a 5 chord, and finally it will resolve into the 1 chord. So what does all that mean? Well, if you look at the first intro there, it's obviously in the key of C. All right, so it says I'm going up diatonically or scale-wise in C, and that's what's happening. I'm playing C major 7, the 1 chord, and then the 2 chord, D minor 7, and then 3, okay, E minor 7, or... Okay, now from this point, the formula says now you're going to go around in fourths from that E. Well, that's just going around the circle of fourths. So after E, what comes after E in the circle of fourths? A. Okay, so I decided to play an A minor 9 there. Continuing in fourths, after A comes D, and I'm going to play a D 13. All right, so here's what we have so far. Now, the half-step dominant approach chord. The chord we're approaching is actually the 5 chord of the key, which would be G7. So it says here that I'm going to play a G sharp 7 flat 5, right there, and that will lead me into the 5 chord, which is G11. We still have 1 beat left over, and so I'm going to add another 5 chord, another kind of G dominant chord, this time a 13 flat 9. Looks like that. And then resolution on the C chord. So if I put it together slowly, here's what we have. Okay, great ending for any song in the key of C. Okay, to give you an idea, if I was ending a song, okay, great ending. Now, if you want to turn this into an intro, all you do is add an additional 5 chord at the end. And you're ready to start your tune. Okay? Now, all the other examples that you have here follow exactly that same pattern. I would learn these, memorize the pattern, because this is a method for coming up with intros and endings that you can do while improvising on the fly in any song, in any key. Part of the assignment this week is to come up with a cool introduction and a cool ending of your own for the song that we'll be covering in the next segment.